Oh, oh, oh. Hey, everybody. Welcome to TTCDivaDads, episode 37. We've got a great show, of course, as we always do. Our programming producer's just fantastic. So, no. I'm Dana. How are y'all?
I'm Rodney. Nice to see you, everybody.
Hi, guys. Mike Kilgore.
Dana, please press record.
Oh, let's run that back. Hey, everybody. Welcome to DivaDads. I'm Dana Martin.
I'm Rodney Bettis.
Mike Kilgore gets better.
I'm Adrian Dobson. I'm still waiting for it.
I didn't actually record. Okay, now we're recording.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to DivaDads, episode number 37. I'm Dana Martin.
Are you? I'm Rodney Bettis.
I'm the guy who never shows up for practice, but a minute early, Mike Kilgore.
Oh, I'm barely here, Adrian Dobson. Hi, everybody.
How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Rodney's got a fresh haircut.
He
Looks good.
got a lot of hairs cut all over.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get those ears taken
Yeah,
care of?
I got tired of.
Did Mandy make you do that?
No. She's given up a long time ago trying to affect my hairstyle.
Probably that's not the only thing she's given up on trying to control.
Yeah, probably true. It's probably true. No, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and so I just took the whole day off, and so it was fun. After I got through the doctor, visited with my mother, and then I went and got my hairs cut, and then I got new cocktail glasses, which I'm very excited about. And so yeah, I had a good day. Had a good day today. I've been up to the theater, got to see the kids camp going on, and
Nice.
some choreography, and had a pearly moment.
Yeah.
And so it was good. It's been good.
Yeah, I said, what are you doing this afternoon? Because they had asked me to come help out with something at the high school. And he says, nothing until this time. And I was like, great. It wasn't so much of a question as, will you be at the theater at this time? You just have to sit there. Hannah's in charge. You got this. So do y'all went and looked around for set pieces for Tuck? Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Very
So we've got some ideas. I think that the set designing crew would like a production meeting.
That
was something else. That was something else that came up. There's a really good idea. So if the director's behind it, we'll see if the director can give us the okay.
We'll see. I'm just kidding. I'm so on board for if someone has an idea. Yes. But then I'm going to skip theater news and I'm going to go right into that. We'll come back to theater news. Roger Pine breakdown. Rodney and Dana, describe the plot of Tuck Everlasting.
At the same time?
Yes, in a round, please.
Okay.
We can do it improv style, like one sentence at a time.
Once there was a family.
And
Seriously, that's all you're going to get from the end?
and they lived in a wood.
They did, and they drank from a stream.
Believe it was a spring, but
Close.
regardless of what it was
Mike,
some
you don't
sort
know.
of fluid.
Oh.
And yeah,
Make
way
it
to make
weird.
it gross. And it allowed them to live forever.
The end.
And
Oh, no?
Sure. I ask because I'm having to reintroduce myself to the plot of Tuck Everlasting, but I'm excited about it. I'm really excited. We're still waiting for Concord to approve our dates, but April 9th. And we can officially say April 9th at the theater.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, April 9th at the theater. I'm really excited, emotional already listening to this music and getting back into it, but wow. You excited, guys?
Super.
I am. That little piece of news you dropped on me earlier this week.
That's what I was going to ask. So one of our beloved people, Kelsey Coleman, is having to back out partly because of her work and, COVID exposure that is a lot for her with what she does. So we got a new Constable Joe.
What?
Dana?
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of words on some of those pages.
No,
Oh,
there's
no.
not. You're fine.
Okay.
You're
Well,
fine.
Are we
Maybe.
talking Mamma Mia moments here or what?
Oh,
Like,
I am older now.
There's a
And
lot of words to
wiser.
be dropped
Yes,
too.
and
So.
wiser.
But no, but your teammate is Lucas Dixon. So like he's got
Yeah.
you. You and
Yeah.
Lucas are gonna be it's gonna be adorable together. I can't wait.
Lucas is Hugo?
Is that the
Is that
name?
what you said? Hugo?
Hugo?
Lucas is Hugo?
Hugo. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Pumped. So theater news. Yes, Tuck. Yay. But tonight I want to talk about other theaters, which is exciting. So the theater community in the Brazos Valley is like kind of popping this weekend. It's really cool. So last night was the opening night for Arsenic and Old Lace at Stage Center, which features our own good girl Kiki Palmer.
Kiki.
So Keith Owen, yay. And also TTC veteran stylist Morris, so yay. Last night went great. Apparently some names got confused at some point. Keith and Silas are brothers and someone kept calling them by the wrong name, but they made it. So happy opening to Stage Center. And also tonight is opening night for Navasota Theater Alliance and their production of the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged, directed by Jennifer Hargis.
Our
And that
good
is one of the
friend Jennifer,
funniest. Yeah, that is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life. The last time I saw it actually was with some theater fam. Andrew Robler directed it at This Is Water Theater with Alana and Jessica Lemons as two of the three people. So break a leg to and happy opening to Navasota Theater Alliance.
Heck yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, excited.
Do you know-
Also,
Do
NTA
you know
is
how
all
long
virtual.
those shows are running? Like, am I going to be able to see those?
Well, no. three. I think Arsenic and Old Lace is 3 weeks. The NTA show is virtual, so you can buy a ticket now and kind of watch it.
Whenever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that you can watch it whenever. I think they might be performing it live with like COVID safe planted audience members because there's a lot. That's the hard part. William Shakespeare Abridged is very much audience interactions. Flippin' hilarious. But I know that they've planned all of that around COVID and they've got a lot of brilliant ideas. So yeah, I can't wait to watch that one virtually. Yay.
Cool.
Drink time?
Oh, are we not doing the Roger Pine breakdown? Or was that?
Y'all broke down Tuck. Y'all broke down Tuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
While
Sorry.
he's getting ready, happy thoughts to Beth Aiken and Carrie Kempf, both of whom have accidentally derailed another weekend of the last 5 years because Beth has COVID exposure, but she's got to get tested. And then our sweet Carrie might have had exposure as well. And that person's not getting tested until tomorrow. So
Charlotte was sick last week
Oh,
and
no.
and this week, and she went and got a test. It came back negative, but we just
That's
found
good.
out today from the test. So, yeah. So we're
That's
good.
good.
So now I signed up to go help in the morning, Rodney.
Help do what? Because I was watching I was listening to the David Moreno podcast, and somebody promised to put sticky notes on doors.
What?
Yeah,
I
you
did?
You promised to put sticky notes on doors so that I could know where things are, and now there's just things askew everywhere.
No,
I had no idea where to put stuff, so I just put everything in the graveyard.
I don't know.
he's messing with you.
Okay.
Rodney, his blood pressure.
Oh, sorry.
It used to be
Sorry.
his concussion, and now it's his blood pressure. Oh, Lord. Next thing you know, I'll be waiting in line at Luby's. All right, let me get...
liver and onions.
I love liver and onions.
I do too.
So good.
I know it's terrible.
Weird.
All right,
Okay,
Rodney, you're
so-
on, my friend.
Cocktail. Tonight I am making a Spanish coffee. And just for dramatic effect, I'm going to turn the lights off.
Wow.
Because what I've just added to my new fancy glasses. Look at those out. Check those out.
Hey, that looks like a present.
A present.
I don't know.
Mike, he got a different glass than you.
Yeah. So what I added to that, I have no idea what's happening. What I added to that was some 151 rum. This is a Caribbean rum. and so it's very strong. And so I added about 3/4 of a shot of that, and then about 1/4 of a shot or so of triple sec. And I sugar rimmed my glass, and then I'm going to light my 151 on fire, and I'm going to caramelize the sugars
Whoa.
the edge of the glass.
Nice.
So this doesn't bruise it, but it burns it.
This is like climbing in bed with somebody who's got the nice warm feet, and just rubbing the nice warm feet, playing footsies. So yeah, well, I'm caramelizing the sugar and burning off some of that high alcohol
Vapor.
Yep. And one of our DivaDads regulars, former guest and regular, has been requesting a home delivery cocktail, and today she got one. So I went over to Linda Bendixson's house and made this cocktail for her, and so I was very glad to do it. We had some coffee talk. We talked amongst ourselves, and it was great, a great time. And so love having some Linda and Mark Bendixson in our life. So,
hey, quick question: is this like the third one you've made?
This is the fourth one I've made, because I made one whenever I first came home from buying all this stuff, and then I made two. I made one for Linda, and I made one for myself.
Okay,
So,
I do have a quick question before you continue, though. Is that what happened to your beard?
that's good. That's good. No. So now I'm going to add some coffee liqueur. You could use Kahlua, but Kahlua is a little on the sweet side, so I got this Cayman Reef dark roasted Kona coffee liqueur. It's quite delicious, and so you're going to add about 1.5 shots of that in there, and then some hot brewed coffee. This is French press, and it's French Market coffee and chicory.
Ooh, chicory.
Like you're in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna add about 3 ounces of that, and you're going to top off with garnish with some whipped cream.
I could have this while I'm in meetings at work, and no one would know.
You could have any drink in meetings when no one would know.
Nobody would know.
I was drinking tea, and they were like, "Put your beer away." They think they know.
They think they know. So one thing that I did learn while I was at making this for Linda was that you don't want to grab the glass right here that you have just been cooking sugar in, because it will scorch your thumb. I'm going to have a blister in the morning. So that's why you need this kind of coffee mug with a handy dandy handle. So it's actually very pretty as the cream kind of cascades down the side of the glass. But it is really, really hot right this second. So I'm going to stir the cream into and let it combine with the rest of the drink. But that is a Spanish coffee. It is delicious. It is definitely a top fiver on all of the drinks that I have made here on DivaDads, or just in life in general. So if you want a nice, warm, alcoholic beverage, this is the one for you. Be a little bit careful though, because there is still plenty of the 151 rum in there. This is a drink that will keep you up and will also knock you out. So,
I'm glad I didn't have time to pick up the stuff to make that, because my dad texted me and says, "Please don't try this at home."
Guys, have y'all
faith.
Have y'all
What?
noticed, like, from say first quarter of 2020 pandemic starting to now, Rodney's room has turned from Rodney's room to more of like a pre-prohibition type style room, like the little pores on the top. I mean, like, what's he running over there?
Well, yeah, I'm definitely upping my game.
running a speakeasy, DivaDads speakeasy.
Hey.
So what Mike was referring to is for Christmas, you each got a very specific glass for you. And Mike actually got pretty much the glass that Rodney you're using right now.
Oh, yeah, no, I got this. The reason why I didn't make this cocktail last week is because I didn't have glasses like this. And I was like, you can't make this cocktail in just a regular coffee mug, you know? And so I found some on Amazon, and but every time I think about ordering them, it's, you know, already Thursday. And so today, when I had my day off, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond, and what do you know? They had them.
Right there.
I was so happy. So I bought two.
So does this mean you're going to make it past 11 and after dark?
Yeah.
We have a 9 a.m. work day tomorrow, so.
Oh, crap. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Mike got the bougie glass. Rodney got the coffee mug with the gnome on it because of his strong feelings about Elf on the Shelf. And then you got the pint glass, right? For your Ziegenbach on tap.
Thank you so much.
I know you. That looks good. I would make that one. I don't know. There's a weird thing about coffee and alcohol though, because like alcohol is meant to like night night, and then coffee is.
But there's so many good like coffee alcohol like combinations.
Yes.
It's true. I mean, I love a good espresso martini.
Yeah, and the drink that we had that I made last week had the coffee liqueur in it as well. The Revolver, and it was quite tasty.
So,
and there's lots of coffee stouts.
Yep. You do coffee with a little bit of hot chocolate and some peppermint schnapps, and that.
Oh, heck yeah!
Oh my God.
Yep. And I will start my day on March 17th with an Irish coffee.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Good for you, sir.
Well, good. Then Kate is crying right now because that's one of her favorite things about Christmas. So we'll just attribute it to that. She's crying because she can't currently have hot chocolate with schnapps.
You can have that any day. What?
She probably does, but she's been busy. She may or may not have met a boy.
Ooh.
What?
My mom's been cyber stalking her too, so my mom knows more than I do. Not really, but
I thought about Kate whenever she gets around to watching this episode, because I was listening to Mike Birbiglia, his podcast today, and he had I can't remember the comedian that he had on with him, but they were talking about dating in New York, and they had a really funny line because they said all of the girls in New York City think they're on Sex and the City, and all the guys in New York City think they're Mad Men. And
that's a bad mix.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
Then,
no. Yeah. She could do a whole episode on just her dating life in the city. She's got a lot to say.
Yeah, but then they said in actuality it's more like Game of Thrones.
Shame.
Well, speaking of New York.
Oh.
Look at that segue.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
That's good.
Really good.
That's not my job though. I don't know whose job it is. Who's Pink?
Yeah, you're just awesome.
Oh, it was actually meant to be you since you got the pleasure of catching up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last
You're
week
colorblind.
I got to catch up with Robert. And this week I got to catch up with him again. He did join us last week for After Dark and maybe even a portion of the show.
He didn't. He was just watching and enjoying and chatting.
But everyone welcome Robert Gonzales Jr. to the show.
Hey guys.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to see all of you. Hey, Mike, are you? I'm confused because I know TTCDivaDads normally has 3 dads, but I know I think the last month and a half, it's only been 2 of them and Adrian. So I'm like, thank you for showing up today. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, they told me like the statue and the elevation of like your status, and so my agent advised me I probably better be present. So
wow.
Oh, good. So my agent reached out to yours and told them exactly what I told them to tell them.
Absolutely. Hey,
Good,
we
I'm
both
glad.
get point right now. Yes.
Yeah, good.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad.
dressing up for us, Mike, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you don't realize someone said today, and it's actually making me old, is someone said you were literally one step above the what do you call it? Like, I guess the fashion. You're one step above the fashion of Adam Sandler. Go and Google Adam Sandler now.
That's not good, Mike. That's not
Oh
good.
my gosh, the backwards hat and the T-shirt, and you are Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
How about that? Not in a good way.
Meow, please.
Oh no.
So, Robert, you're officially meeting the Diva Dads for the first time,
Yes.
and meeting me for the first time, which is wild.
That's correct. Yes, I know. It's weird because like for you, Adrian, like we've been talking, we chat, you know, and all that stuff as well. So, and I think you came up here a couple of times and we never got to connect when you came up here either,
Right.
which really upset me too. But yeah, so this is the first time that we're actually meeting as well. So yeah, so this is during the time of COVID. This is actually one of the best ways to meet people. So I'm glad we're able to do this over Zoom and over the internet and YouTube and everyone else out there too. So I hope there's a lot of people showing up tonight.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, Robert, when my first exposure to you was on Broadway and Back. You did some interview segments there. And I was like, man, that's awesome. Like, that's a guy I'll never meet, but it's amazing that there's this connection. And blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, how about that?
Well, it's funny because you watched Broadway and Back because of this, right? So you've watched it like in the time of COVID. That's wild. And Robert, when we were literally two ships passing in the night because you left. You were leaving when I was coming to the theater.
Exactly. That's what I was telling Dana today too. So it's like my last show was the last one before you came to the theater company. So it's like we literally just missed each other for like a couple of weeks, I think, because
seriously,
the last show I did, I wasn't in it, but I choreographed Oklahoma, and then and I left like I think I was there for like the last week of performances, I believe. Yeah, I was there for the last week of performances, or the second last one of the two, and then right after that is when I came up here to New York for the first time. Yeah.
And one of the things that I knew about you is that it was a big deal for you to leave, and so you got a goodbye concert.
Yes. Yep.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So it was fun. It was one of those things that actually I actually kind of copied it. Stephanie Miller, when she left.
Oh, that's right.
When Stephanie Miller left, she actually did the same thing, and it was really kind of fun because Randy actually directed her and directed with her too. So she got to do it, and I was leaving. I walked up to Randy, I'm like, "Can you?" I said, "I'd be happy to, as usual, split whatever money comes in with the theater company because got to support the theater company too." So did that as well, and it was one of those things that I got most everyone that I knew who wanted to participate do it, and it wasn't just me, but it was everyone else that I wanted to perform it at the same time. So it was nice going away, kind of farewell presentation performance with all of my friends with me at the same time. So it was nice.
That's cool.
The reason I knew so much about it, well, I'd heard about it from Amanda, who's watching, because she also echoes that she can't believe that you and I have never actually met. But there were multiple times across the past now almost like 20 years, where I tried to leave the theater company. I tried to leave Bryan College Station, and I never quite made it out the door. But I had conversations with Randy, and I can't remember at what point when I was trying to leave. I said, because I told him, I think probably in a year or so I'm going to be out of here, but like before I go, I'm going to get a concert too. Like I wanted to have, because I knew that it was such a rare thing, and in my time no one had ever done that before. But I'd heard about Stephanie, heard about your concert, and I was like, well, I'm going to do one, obviously.
There you go. Yeah, you was like check please. Yeah, you want.
But I'm still here.
But you're still here. But the thing is, but you're there and in a great capacity, and the theater company is very happy to have you too. You stepped into some big shoes, and you are leading the theater company in great directions, and very, very happy to have you. And I know everyone else around you is very happy to have you there too. So thank you very much.
Very big blue suede shoes, to be specific.
Yes.
Adrian, I thought you were going to say that you were staging exits so that you could have multiple concerts. Oh, I'm going, I'm fine. Oh, you convinced me to stay. And then, oh no, I'm leaving. Oh, you convinced me to stay again.
But speaking of, there were not that to have multiple concerts, but we have had multiple people, right before the show, they would really want a certain part for us, say, well, Randy, I think this is my last show.
How would that work on you, Adrian?
No.
She's like, nope, not happening.
Guess I'm not
Sorry.
Oliver. So Harold
Fun
Harold
enough.
Harold Presley's watching right now.
Oh, Harold. I
and
love
he
Harold.
said,
Yeah, yeah.
"Howdy, Robert, my Seymour."
Yeah.
That's right.
So-
Yeah. So when we did Little Shop, Harold was the plant, and it was great. It was my Audrey was Joanna, who has passed away, in the last couple of years, and but Harold was there, and Harold's always been. I've always been Harold Seymour, and he's always been my Audrey too. Like Harold and I have done numerous things together, but that was one of the things. And Harold loved it, first off, because he didn't have to get in costume. He didn't have to do anything. He literally showed up, sat in a chair, and sang in a microphone and spoke in a microphone the entire show. So yeah, he wasn't even in the plant. So he didn't need to be in the plant. He literally sat on, what was it? I think it was stage left. Literally sat on stage left, and in front of a microphone, literally in front of one of the old folding chairs at the theater company, with a microphone, a music stand, and his script in front of him too. So that and he sang directly from it the entire time. It was hilarious. But yeah, one of the best shows. Love that show.
Feeling like so obviously we know Dustin, like such a clear, beautiful, rich voice. Like I almost feel, and my jaw dropped, by the way, when hearing Dustin. I'm almost thinking like that's probably the same reaction I would have had with Harold, because like he does have that like very like rich voice,
Yeah.
So now, yeah.
If you've ever heard Harold sing "Old Man River,"
Oh yeah.
we did Showboat with Karen Chavez, and she was again another amazing person. But when he sat there and did "Old Man River," and literally like, I think Randy and I had staged it so that no one moved on stage. And it was just him right in the center and just moving back and forth. It was just it was an amazing song to experience and to be a part of and watch. So congratulations, Harold. We're talking about you now.
Yes.
Well, we can switch it. Mike, I think we've got a list of questions. I think Michael Kilgore, you are first.
Oh, last name. All right, I'm on it. I'm on it. No.
Crazy.
Okay, so Robert, tell us, how did you come to find TTC?
Okay, so I had so hold on. Let me pull up my little notes that I have, because I made little notes for today. I come prepared, but give me a second because I gotta put on my glasses because I'm 50 now and I can't read very well. Okay, so in 1998, in the summer of 1998, somebody told me that the theater, it wasn't the theater company back then, it actually was Imagination Station. And that was the last year they were Imagination Station. Someone told me that they were doing 42nd Street and were looking for a choreographer. And so I came in and I threw my hat in the ring. And that production that year was not, 42nd Street was not being directed by Randy. Actually, they had a guest director come in. So I met with her and she was like, yeah, sure, you can go ahead and do it. I'm like, okay, good. But I wanted to be a part of Imagination Station before the show actually happened. So the first show was The Unsinkable Molly Brown. And Joanna, she played Molly Brown. And it was fun because it was the first show I ever did at the theater company. It was very interesting, because I was performing for a long time with the Restless Belly Troupe. And so coming to there and going to a new space is, coming to a new space and seeing new people and seeing how things go was interesting. First time seeing Randy and how he directed it. I liked it a lot. I liked the theater. It was right after, I think it was right after they actually started doing performances in the Blue Theater, because most performances were actually happening in the Red Theater. And the Red Theater is where they had actually moved a lot of the children's performances from the Red Theater and actually doing all that stuff, preparing the Blue Theater for the main stage stuff. And so it was right before that I think they started doing stuff there, which was really kind of cool. But yeah, it was fun, and I actually got to help some of the. And if Amy Weiss was here, she would tell you Belly Up to the Bar Boys is one of the biggest numbers in the show, big male numbers in the show, and as most male actors do not know how to dance. So one of the things I got to do. One of the things I got to do was kind of help some of the guys perfect their dance steps and make it look like they're actually dancing. So that was my first thing, and Randy saw that, and he saw that I was actually helping him out and made it, worked with the choreographer to make it a little bit better. So it was a lot of fun, but that was a great show. It's a good show to get my feet wet at the Imagination Station and eventually the theater company.
Nice.
The Red Theater wall is still actually has the backdrop from what I think was Midsummer Night's Dream, but it's still painted.
Yes, it wasn't from Midsummer Night. Yeah, it was, but it was from the children's Shakespeare productions. They did
Yeah.
it. Yes, it was the summer program. So the summer program was done at that point in time, and so that was the last show. It was actually done in the Red Theater. And so when we moved to the Red Theater, the Blue Theater, the Red Theater actually became our quick change and our green room.
Yeah.
And because we didn't have now, like y'all have now, but right before I left, we actually got to have the crossover behind the theater, the hallway back there. We didn't have that. We actually had to, we couldn't use it, and we actually, you went out the Red Theater to go to the Blue Theater, and that's the only thing you could go in and out of was right there. You couldn't use the back or anything at all. So the Red Theater was actually the green room and the quick change area as well.
And Amanda asked if we actually still call it the Red and the Blue Theater, and we do. It's still the yellow and the red, and then the blue is no longer blue because the carpet obviously is gone, the seats are gone, none of it's blue anymore, but it's definitely, yes, that's still what we call them.
Red and the yellow.
And also Stephanie Miller is officially watching, and she says,
"Yay, Steffi!" Yeah, Steffi only lives about 15, 18 blocks up from where I do. Yeah, so she's in the neighborhood as well.
Yay.
So how long were you at TTC, and what kind of led you away from TTC?
Okay, so let me put on my I enlarged my document so I could actually read. Okay, so so I was at TTC, like I said, started meditation in 1998, and my last show that I was involved with was the beginning of 2002. And in those years, I counted. So I performed in 16 shows, 17 if you count Annie Jr., that's a story. And then I choreographed 15.
Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
I was in 16 and choreographed 15. Yes.
Goodness gracious.
My
All right, what's the
gosh.
Annie Jr. story? And was that little Michael Green Annie Jr.?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so Annie Jr., I was asked, Randy actually asked me to direct Annie Jr. And because to that time, Randy, let me see, I think the last time we actually had a guest director was when the Enlows directed Man of La Mancha that he starred in. And then he helped them along, halfway through, he kind of helped them along a little bit more along the way. But he was the only person who had directed up until that point in time. And so it was a big thing for him to ask me to direct Annie Jr. So it was fun. It was great. So we had, Michael Green, not little Michael Green anymore, even though he'll always be like 10 to me. He played Rooster. I cast him as Rooster, which was a lot of fun. And then Sarah Wise was actually Miss Hannigan. And then I had, so anyway, I did it a little bit different. The young man who played Daddy Warbucks, we didn't shave his head, he kept his hair. And then Annie, she actually in the intermission, in the 15 minutes of intermission that we had, because they rescinded it to 15 minutes, I think, to 15. Her mother literally, she had straight hair at the very beginning of the show, and went and curled her hair completely from top to bottom, so she had actual real curly hair.
Oh wow!
And her mother actually went out, and I talked to her mom. I said, we can put her in a wig, or you can dye her hair. She goes, I'll dye her hair. So we actually went through. She actually brought up hair color shades to me, and we actually chose the color of her hair, and she had her hair touched up before every weekend of the show.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Anyway, so the story of that is one of the second weekend of shows, the young man playing Daddy Warbucks, about half hour before show, called to the theater, and of course I picked up the phone, and he goes, and it was his mom, and she goes, he's been really sick for the last day. There's no way he can perform today at all. And I was like, okay, sure, no problem, don't worry about it, that's fine. So I went on as Daddy Warbucks in the one production of the show. Yeah, so that was fun. And it was kind of cool that I directed the show because I already knew his lines. So, and that was very interesting. But yeah, it was really cool. So I had to go around and tell the entire cast, to all the kids, that I was going to be there and performing the show. And they were like freaking out. They were like, oh my God, this is more fun. So yeah. And so, and then at the time, Jim Butler was the reviewer for the Eagle.
Yeah.
And he was like, why didn't you call and tell me you were going on today? I would have made a special review of the show. I'm like, no, we did not need that to happen. That's fine. Doing it afterwards is perfectly fine. So yeah, it was that was a fun show. But having to jump into that, and then for the Star to Be, every show I chose someone else different. So we actually had a different person come in for the start
Oh,
of the
wow.
Yeah, so we had random people like Jessica Schultz came in. I had the choir teacher from one of the schools. She came in. So everyone, every performance was a different star to be. So it wasn't the same one. So I brought in someone different for every time. So that was a lot of fun too.
That's awesome.
It's really exciting because it is just that one singular moment. There's no reason it can't be someone different every time. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I like that.
So what kind of led you to leave TTC?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So I had been thinking about moving to New York in the first place. And my really good friend at the time, Stephen Lair, who performed a number of times at TTC as well, he and I became, his mother was actually on the board of directors.
And they own Harvey Washbangers.
I was going to say his parents owned Harvey Washbangers. I actually worked at Harvey Washbangers before, after I left A&M. Well, before I left A&M, I actually worked part-time there. My apartment was actually right down the road from Harvey Washbangers. And so I ended up working for them, working with them and for them as well at Harvey's. And he said he wanted to come to New York to go to school, to come to acting school. So he applied to AMDA. And he's like, I don't know if I want to do it. I said, listen, if you get accepted to AMDA, I will follow you within a year. I'll move up there in a year. And so he got accepted. I brought him up here, helped him move into his dorm, came back and decided, okay, I had to do this. And almost a year later, I left Texas and moved here to New York City. And that's how I came here.
Wow.
Yeah. And I gave everyone,
awesome.
I literally gave everyone a year advance notice that I was leaving. I told my job at A&M that I was leaving, told Harvey's I was leaving, told Randy and the board that I was leaving. Like I gave everyone literally a year in advance because I want to make sure everything was set and ready to go. And even from my end as well to move here. And so it took me a full year and everyone knew that I was going and that's the way it was. So that's what brought me here.
And a full year to plan your concert.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, a full year.
Yeah, we have to get Stephanie on the podcast at some point too, because she had the same reason. And a lot of it was to help, financially with this crazy move to New York, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So
Yep.
a lot of it was for her, especially because I remember because, she gave up her job as a teacher here in Bryan College Station to move up here. And another story is that after I moved up here, Stephanie works at AMDA as well. And so when I first moved up here, I got a job at a restaurant. That's another story altogether. And then Stephanie reached out. She goes, oh, we have an opening for a house manager at AMDA. And I was her house manager at Rudder Theater, Rudder Auditorium for years. I actually worked backstage at all the main shows that came in. I was local crew for all the big musicals and big plays that came in that played at Rudder Theater, at Rudder Auditorium. So and I actually was house managed the big auditorium. So when I came here, she goes, "Oh, didn't you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "So I actually house managed at AMDA for a semester there as well." So it was kind of fun.
Well, Linda Bendixson, other than the theater company, because I feel like it's the answer, but what do you miss most about Bryan College Station?
Being able to be someplace in less than 5 minutes. Yeah. I kind of don't miss driving, but then I kind of do at the same time. I miss being able to hop over to someone's house and knock on the door and say hi and walk in. Everything here, it's, you have to plan everything out. You have to make sure that schedules match, that you just can't pop over to someone's house. You have to make sure that they're home and actually there and things like that. So, and of course I miss my friends. I met left a lot of people, and since then, a lot of them have scattered to the four winds. Some have stayed in Bryan College Station, but others moved around. But still stay in touch with them. But I do miss the small town camaraderie of Bryan College Station. So
It's not so small anymore.
I know. Every time I look at pictures, it gets been like, what is that doing there? That was a huge lot before. Why is there why is there another Sonic in town? So yeah, it's just really weird.
True. So speaking of things that you may not miss very much about Bryan College Station, what do you miss most about Christy Petty? What? What? I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
What I miss most about who?
Christy
Explain,
Petty.
Rodney. Explain.
Okay, Christy Petty and I go way back. We are like we went to college together, and I was Blake Petty's roommate in college. So, and she's like best friends with my wife, and so I've been trying to shake Christy Petty for a long time, but I can't
The
shake
thing
her.
is, you'll never be able to shake Christy
So-
Petty. Sorry about that. So,
Yeah,
but
I've been trying for like 25 years. so it hasn't
I got
worked.
to meet Christy Petty. She came and auditioned for Grease. The beginning of, I forget what season, but it was the opening season. And one of the first times we actually had to extend a show for an entire weekend, the additional weekend, because we sold out and people wanted more. So it was a good thing. But I cast with Randy, we cast Christy as Cha-Cha Di Gregorio. And so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, and you know, and I've enjoyed Christy ever since. Her and Bub, Blake Petty, yeah, so it was great. It was good to know them and all this stuff too. And I'm not saying that I don't miss Chrissy. I do miss her. And I think she's doing great now with the Village Cafe. I think that's amazing. I think that's a great addition to Brian. And she's doing such good work there and, you know, reaching out to the community and all that stuff too. So like I said, it's one of those things that I met all these people and I met them and performed with them. So it's good to see, you know, it's been 18 years now and see how they've branched out and done other things and still working with either the community or doing other things as well. And Christy's a very good example of that.
No, agreed. Begrudgingly agreed.
Begrudgingly. But as many shows as Christy did, Rodney, you just never saw a single one, did you?
Nope.
No, and I tried not to watch the one I was in with her, but
But then you had to smooch her a little bit.
no, we refused to smooch.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
That's what. Oh yeah. Nope.
I
you're right,
remember her saying, "I'm not kissing him."
Yeah, I told Rob Greta, I said,
Thing is, I
I'd
can
rather-
actually hear her saying that too.
Yeah.
So
I told Rob Greta, I said, I'd rather kiss my actual sister than to kiss Christy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's good.
Crazy.
She's not watching, so it's fine.
Wait, did you just say it was crazy?
What?
You just took a line from me.
Well, I was waiting for you to say it, and you instead said hilarious, and I was like, "That's not what you're supposed to say."
She was giving
But
you your line, your one line.
No, I was because I was watching the world, the gears turn where he was like, "Don't say crazy, don't say crazy." Hilarious.
I'm smart.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Robert. So obviously you moved up to New York and all the great memories at TTC. And a second ago, I had just kind of started shedding a tear, you know, knowing like hearing all the history of TTC and like that we're just a small speck of like all this history, which is like amazing hearing you talk about that. So kind of transition a little bit. Tell us your journey in New York, kind of start to where you are now and everything great that's going on there.
okay, so I was very fortunate when I first came to New York City. When I first got here, it was one of the things is like I wanted to get out and start auditioning for everything I possibly could. And it wasn't that I thought I could get it. I just wanted to get there and get the experience of auditioning, you know, and learn what it was like. And I would, back then, every Thursday morning, was Thursday morning? Yeah, Thursday morning, you got up early, you walked to the corner store and you got the backstage paper. And backstage listed all the casting calls for the entire week, right? And back then, before the internet was big and all this stuff too, I actually think I found it. My old planner from that first year I was here. You would go through, you find the ones you want, you'd actually cut it out and you'd paste it into the planner of the days you're going to, because you had to know what theater, and not theater, but what audition space and the rehearsal space you had to go to and what time it was and what show it was and all that stuff too. And you had to make sure everything was done. And you literally would go to auditions and you'd see people with these planners this thick because all their other backstage ads were in there that you had to follow. Wow. And then I had to start building my book. So, and I had to learn how to put it together as well, you know, because when you audition here, you give them a binder and you have to give them the stuff. You actually mark your 8 or 16 bars. You have to make sure it's clearly marked for the accompanist to do what you want, right? And you put it in plastic sheets so they're easily grabbed and all that stuff too. So I had to learn all this stuff like really, really quick and really fast. I printed my headshots here for the first time, and I went to some random far place on like 44th Street and like 12th Avenue, like towards the very end. I thought I was going to get mugged somewhere. But so you had to learn all that, right? So I did that, and then I think within the first 2 weeks I was here, I got cast in my first show. Yeah, I got cast in my first show. and I did that, and then right after that, this like it just kept going. Like every other show, like every third show I think I probably auditioned for, I ended up getting. And then I got cast in one of my first longer running shows at that point in time. I was in it for 3 months, and I performed 4 days a week in that one. And then after that, I got cast in a Fringe show, the New York Fringe Festival, which is a big thing here as well. And then after that, I started getting cast more in New York and in New Jersey as well.
Oh wow!
And then there was a thing that came up on backstage. It was a show called Fools in Love, and it was a theater company called Millennium Talent Group, looking for new members. And I went and auditioned, and you auditioned actually in front of the entire group. There was a big ensemble of people, right? And you actually auditioned in front of them, and I met with the director, and she's like, "We want you to join. We want you to join as an ensemble member and as a understudy for one of the main roles." I'm like, "Cool, that's fine." Mm-hmm. So I did that, and I was involved with that show for a year and a half. So I actually performed Off-Broadway for a full year and a half, performing 8 shows a week.
Awesome.
I started off in the ensemble, I said, and understudied, and then moving up into one of the main roles, and then I ended up becoming doing the lead role for quite some time. And then Fools in Love was actually Midsummer Night's Dream with 50s and 60s doo-wop music.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was very audience interactive as well, because we actually did stuff inside of the audience and came out, so it was a lot of fun. It was very physical, and it was meant for Shakespeare for kids as well, because it was very, I wouldn't say dumbed down, but it was shortened in such a way, and we did it wasn't overacting, but it was being over effusive to make sure that everyone understood. We wanted to make sure that Shakespeare was being accessible and they knew what it was all about. And so that was a lot of fun. And I ended up playing Puck in that for like 6 months straight. And then by the time I finished that show, I ended up playing all the male roles at least once. Yeah, because we switched in and out of roles every once in a while. And then we ended up putting on called Tempest-Tossed Fools, which was, what was it called? The name of the show. Anyway, so it had Caliban in it. I can't think of The Tempest, sorry.
Oh,
I was like, The Tempest with all original music. And I was cast as Caliban from the very beginning. And I was the only person who played Caliban the entire time. And we actually did Caliban, and we actually did Tempest-Tossed Fools and Fools in Love in rep. So we would go back and forth. So 4 days would be one show and 4 days would be the other show. And then the next week we'd switch. So we played alternating weeks for the different days and different times, all that stuff too. So, and for Tempest-Tossed Fools, there was one day for my birthday, I asked to be off. I had put in like a month ahead of time to be off for that one show. And they couldn't find a understudy or someone quick enough to come in for that one day. So they ended up canceling the show. So because I couldn't be in it. Yeah. So they ended up canceling the show, and they ended up giving everyone tickets for whenever they're rescheduling their tickets for the next time. And I was like, listen, I asked for this day for a month ago, so you can't get mad at me. They're like, no, that's fine. We just can't find anyone to do it like that. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But it was cool. So I ended up doing that, performing a lot in New York and New Jersey. And then I got involved with doing shows at a place called the Theater for the New City. It's an Obie Award and Pulitzer Prize winning theater complex. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 different theaters in it. And it mostly plays off-Broadway and off-Broadway productions, mostly independent theater. Brand new shows. They don't do any mainstream shows. And it actually has a big art center right in the middle of it. And they do art shows as well.
Oh, nice.
And I've been doing shows there for like 10 years. Yeah. And so it's been a lot of fun. So I do that. And then, I did a stage reading of a show a couple of years ago called The Bishops. It was directed by the associate director of Dear Evan Hansen. The guy who wrote the music was just, if you ever heard of Ratatouille, the TikTok musical, he actually wrote one of the songs for that as well. And so that was a lot of fun, and that was really neat. And so it's things like that, you get involved with stage readings, and it's come to the point in time now that I don't audition much anymore. I actually get asked to do things, which is actually kind of cool. So it's really very, and the shows that I've been doing at Theater for New City, I work with a great collaborator. She actually writes a new musical or play every year. and I actually direct with her. Her and I direct together. And so the last I've been working with her for about 9 years, 9 years, right? And so from ever since the first year I worked with her, every year afterwards, the shows she's always written a part for me. So that's actually kind of cool when you have a part in a brand new play or a brand new musical is written specifically for you, because she knows what I like to do and knows what my talents are. So she writes this specifically for me. So it's been fun.
That's awesome.
Too. Yeah.
At one point, did you do something, choreograph something or participate in something with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
Yes. So I actually, 12 years ago, I actually started working at Stage Door Manor. It's a performing arts camp in the Catskill Mountains. It's a summer camp. A lot of people came from there. Look him up. It's the guy who played Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. He was there. He was there. Like they had a lot of great people go through there. It's been a camp that's been on for a very, very long time, right? And so I was hired to be a choreographer there. And what they do, they have 3 sessions, and each session is 3 weeks long. Yeah, each session is 3 weeks long, right? So, and the kids go to this thing, and they put on a full production in 3 weeks from start to finish. Costumes, sets, makeup, everything, right? And so they rehearse 5 hours a day, and then the other 3 hours are spent in classes. And so they rehearse all the time, and then they go to classes. They go to like a dance class or a singing class or acting class, whatever they want to do. And then in the evening, the stage manager takes over and they rehearse more in the evening as well, and on the weekends. So basically they have a week and a half to put on an entire, about 2 weeks to put on an entire show. And then over one weekend, all the shows happen at the same time. There's 12 shows that actually happen over one weekend. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so that first year I did it with them, Stage Door Manor was actually requested to perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in the finale. And so earlier in the fall, they were given the music. They chose they auditioned a whole bunch of kids. 5 of them were chosen to sing the very beginning of it. And then the ending part of the song was a big dance number as well. So, sorry, Dorothy, stop. My cat's climbing the carpet. So we got asked to do it. So we got everyone together. You don't get to rehearse until the week of. So we got all the kids there. All the kids, flew in from all over the United States, came to New York. They got there on Monday. We rehearsed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the performance was on Thanksgiving Day, right? And on Wednesday evening, we went to Herald Square and then did a camera rehearsal. So we go there at like 9 o'clock at night when it's dark, and they do all the rehearsals there on the thing itself. And then the day before, we found out that the music they gave us, they told us was part of it, was cut in half. Oh. And so we had to completely redo the whole last half and try to get everything else into like one half of the song instead of the full song that we probably had. So we had to re-choreograph the entire thing and do that as well. But then the day of, since we didn't perform at the very end, we get our first thing. So we got into one of the trailers that Shrek, the musical, had just used before they performed. And so we were in there for the entire parade, and then we jumped in towards the very end of the parade, and then walked in, and then they performed that at the end of the show. So that was a lot of fun as well. So that was a great experience. It's something I always remember.
I remember Randy talks about it because we used to talk about Macy's Thanksgiving Day and Broadway performances, but yes. I remember the year where he talked about the fact that you were participating. Well, okay, so switching gears to Amanda, she has a lot of questions. She actually asked
always has a lot of questions.
She was, I know. But what's funny is I was going through some of the stuff that she's been saying on the YouTube chat, and she says stumbling distance from Harvey's is how she describes your apartment.
That was my apartment. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So this is a story about me and Amanda Land, and Jen Westling, Jennifer Key at the time.
Nice.
Well, yeah, she was Jen Key. And so we love watching horror movies. We love watching horror movies, right? And I know that Amanda's already probably typing in the chat right now. She's like, oh, I remember this day. So came to my house, and it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and we already had a couple of drinks. We're watching this scary movie.
I think speaking of horror movies, I think Adrian's things.
Yeah, she's
that?
freezing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's frozen.
freaking. Yeah, it freaked me out. She's like, and then she. That's a scary movie.
Well,
She's
but
got to restart.
speaking of scary movies, you need to see Bloodsucker's Planet because.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about Bloodsucker's Planet?
I do not know about Bloodsuckers. Okay, hold on. Where's my Google? Hold on.
Dobson has a pretty large role in this movie.
Pretty large role.
Yeah.
Bloodsuckers.
We did a screening of it. It was interesting.
Yep.
I just found that on IMDb. Okay, we're saving this one for later. Okay.
And
Very
she's
cool.
frozen, so she can't retort us
She
bringing this
she
up.
can't come back. See, she's gone now too. So
Yep.
I just found out what was going on.
Talking about it. No problems.
Exactly. So anyway, go back to our story. So I have to wait for Adrian to come back. So we were watching horror movies in my house, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a knock at my door, right? And we weren't expecting anyone to come over. And when they get there, so I look out, and there's this crazy, like, wild man sitting outside of the door, and he looked like he literally walked out of a horror movie. Like if you could have seen like an axe murderer in person, that was him. And we just all freaking like all cowering like on my couch, like, is he gone away? And they were scared to leave, and I was scared to let them leave because we thought, because I lived upstairs and the stairs going down like had the holes, the slats in between each of the stairs. So we were afraid he was going to slash someone's back of someone's Achilles heel as they were walking down the stairs too. But he ended up going away, and then they ended up staying for like an hour later until we knew for sure that he was gone, and ended up walking him out to their cars and stuff like that. So yep, that was one of our scary times that we had from there. But yeah, stumbling distance from Harvey's is very, very true. That's a very distinct and true statement. Yep.
Well, what would be one of your favorite or least favorite shows? You could give us a couple that you've choreographed and why.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look. Oh, where am I? So I have the list still up. Okay, here we go. Now I really got to put my glasses. I can't see. I know I don't. I can't
nice.
see. I turned 50 years old, and also my eyes decided, no, you can't see anymore. So going down the list. So one of my favorite shows, going from year to year, one of my favorite shows to choreograph, of course, was Godspell. So one of the times I got to teach Harold Presley how to do jumping jacks, which was a lot of fun. And I think he'll never, ever forgive me for that. Gypsy was one of my favorite shows to choreograph. That was a lot of fun. And if you ever heard anything about Gypsy, it was the infamous Gypsy. Two big things happened because of Gypsy. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but because of Gypsy, that's why you have the thrust in front of the stage, the runway that comes out. It was actually built for Gypsy and never went away.
Oh.
Yeah, so that thrust that was built for the front of the stage was built for Gypsy and never left. And then from that point forward, Randy and I found many different fun ways to actually use that thrust from that point forward, because that was it was actually used for Gypsy at the very end when she did the striptease, the big striptease numbers at the end, when she changed the costumes at the time. That was her path. She would actually go all the way down, come back up, and go back all the way down again. That was fun. And that was also the show that the lady playing Mama Rose got laryngitis. We had to stop a show halfway through the performance. Not really halfway. It was like right in the middle of the first act. We stopped the show because she completely lost her voice and couldn't go on anymore. And Jen Westling ended up being the understudy for it. And so we spent that night and the next day rehearsing before a Sunday matinee, completely nonstop with her to make sure that she knew all the blocking and all that stuff. And her now husband and boyfriend at the time bought from Radio Shack, bought a one-way microphone system and stuck an earbud into her ear. And he was actually feeding her lines from the side of the stage through a CB radio.
Oh, wow.
So that she knew what she was doing. She knew the songs, but she didn't know all the lines as well. And getting Jen on stage where she needed to go. I was on stage with her a lot of the times. I played one of the boys, one of the grown-up boys at the point in time. And we literally were moving her around the stage, like literally pushing her where she had to go, staging wise. So she had to go. Yeah, that was a very fun and interesting show as well. So then if anyone who was in the show remember that show, then yeah, that was one of the things is like, and I think right after that is when we started learning how to, not really learning, but planning for understudies. We never thought we had to use them before. But for such a big show like that, Randy always kept in the back of his head to have somebody in mind ready to go in case something ever happened from that point forward. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Gypsy was a fun one. Let's see. Let's get one going. Oh, Grease, of course, one of my favorite shows. That was a dancing thing from beginning to end. One of my hardest shows I ever had to choreograph was actually Carousel. Because that had a lot of, there was a big dream ballet sequence right in the middle of the second act. And I had two amazing dancers who just did, I was like, I want this. And they're like, oh, like this. I'm like, no, like this. They're like, okay, like this. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. And so they were very good about doing that. And I'm not trained in ballet, but I know what I like of it. And so I was able to describe them what I wanted. And so they did a really good job with that. That was very daunting for me to do a complete dream ballet sequence of that, having to do ballet, because that was a little bit too much for me.
Was this
but that was a lot of fun.
Was this pre James Cho as in Carousel?
Yes. This was in 2000.
Okay.
So yes. Yeah, this was in 2000.
Carousel gets brought up on this show quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
And
yeah.
Dobson cringes all the time when she hears it, but I think it's okay,
Yeah, it's a fun show. Oh, we did again, going back to Showboat. We did Showboat as well, and with Amanda. And since Amanda is here, we can talk about that as well. So we did Showboat, and so one of the things that Amanda and I played a husband and wife dancing team, and we had to dance on a stage, and the stage was actually two pieces of flats that were put together and were supposed to be locked, right? And during one of our huge dance numbers that we had, we started dancing, and next thing we know, the two just started slowly coming apart like this, like literally sort of migrating with each other. And then like I'm dancing with her and I'm whispering to her, and I'm like, the stage is playing, the stage is playing, the stage is playing. And she's like, catch me if I fall, catch me if I fall. So it's like we literally were dancing over this gap of the stage the entire time, and we ended up doing it without falling, which was a complete and utter miracle for both of us. But yeah, that was interesting and a lot of fun. Yeah, and I can literally tell you stories of almost every show we've done, and the fun stuff and not so fun stuff that actually happened. We actually going back to 42nd Street, we actually did a tech rehearsal that lasted until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and which was, we were just all exhausted and we're not happy with it. And one of the things was there was a big scene in the show that we were passing out champagne, but of course we couldn't drink champagne on the stage. So, but somebody had donated like 6 cases of champagne, and we had it backstage. And so me and Theo Condimitas, if you know who he is, he was actually in the show. He was actually playing piano in the show as well. We literally, while the whole tech was going on, we literally sat back there and emptied those bottles into our gullets. To make sure we were building props correctly. Yes. And so we finished those 6 cases of champagne, I think, between him and I and like 4 or 5 other cast members at the same time to build props. And so we were always, so the show was like, want to go backstage and build some props? Yes, go backstage and build some props. So that's where, if you ever heard that expression before, that's basically where it came from, with that.
It's great.
Yeah. Mike, there it is. It's
there
crazy.
it is,
yeah.
Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Gosh,
we've got a couple more questions, and we've got more questions for you in After Dark here in a little while. I think, Mike, you're next.
Yeah. So Amanda also wants to know, she had the string of questions. She said, okay, who's your favorite TTC dance partner, and why is it me?
It's always her. Amanda and I, okay, it's funny because I always paired Amanda and I together. Always. Like, I think when there was a dancing duet or dancing partner or anything at all, it was always me and her together. We played Duty and Frenchie in Greece. We were, I told you the dancing husband and wife couple in Showboat. We didn't really dance together in Cabaret, but we played opposite Cabaret because she was Sally Bowles and I was the MC. And so, but any production we did, normally it was her and I always dancing together. So yes, she will always be my favorite dancing partner. She was always a lot of fun. And in Greece and during Grease Lightning, so another story I think she'll tell you, if you haven't heard from her, So Grease Lightning, we used an actual car for the show, right? And we had a cast member named Brian who brought in we actually wheeled in this car. It was like an MG, I think is what it was, like a very small car, but we wheeled it in. And little did we know that in the hood of the car was a wasp's nest, and none of us really knew that.
Oh my
and
God.
and so there, I think Amanda got stung twice, I think, during the show, because wasps would actually leave actually left the car and came out and like stung her, and stung a couple other people as well. I left unscathed, but I know that she got stung a couple of times, and I think right after that is when we tried to get rid of the wasp nest, or like I think somebody ended up going in, spraying and killing all the stuff as well. But yeah, I think no one realized we had it until like during one of the performances, and all of a sudden these wasps started flying out in the middle of the show. So yeah, that was fun.
Fun? That was fun. I hope that was sarcasm.
Yeah, of course.
It's an interactive show, folks, tonight.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, right at the beginning of the show, we were talking about BCS and back, how my exposure to you, and of course, people like Cynthia talk very highly of you, James Cho. So can you talk a little bit about that experience filming that BCS to Broadway and back with those two characters?
Yes, of course. So again, just like you three, and then Adrian as well, I'd never met Adrian or James before. They had reached out to me. I think James reached out to me, I think on Facebook or something, and said he was doing this whole thing, explained the entire project and stuff like that, and asked if I want to be involved. I said, yes, of course, I'd love to. And then they let me know when they're going to be here in New York. We set a time, and they told me where the place was. And I said it had to be early because I was actually performing that day. Had to do a matinee for a show I was in that day as well. And so we went there, and it's supposed to be me and somebody else that were filming at the same time. I think they were going to do it like, I think Cynthia was going to sit in the middle, and then I was going to be on one side, and the other person was going to be on the other side. But when we got there, Cynthia she goes, "Oh, by the way, they can't make it, so it's just you today." She goes, "We can focus the entire interview." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's fine." So, yep, it was a fun experience. It was nice to meet Cynthia and James both, and hear, before we actually started, I got to hear from both of them why they want to do the project, what inspired them to do it, and what they hope to accomplish from it as well. So it was good to hear it from them and see what they want to do with it. And even after hearing them, I was even more impressed and more excited to be involved in the project as well. So it was a great experience. And Cynthia, of course, is really easy to talk to. She had these questions all lined up and ready to go, but then like halfway through, she like literally put it down and just like having a conversation with her as well. So it was kind of neat to see that James actually put some of that interaction into the film that came across as genuine and not really staged. And not really like, oh, let me interviewed for it. So that was always fun. But yeah, meeting them and doing that was a lot of fun. And I got to leave there, experiencing and reliving and thinking about my life and interactions with Randy, and then going on and doing a show, so it was, it's just a nice little dot point for the day. So that was nice.
That's awesome.
So do you have a favorite memory of working with Randy Wilson?
So, Randy was, we got to the point in time that Randy could look at me and tell me, I want this, and not say anything or do anything. And I can go, I know exactly what you want. And I'd show him, and he goes, yep, that's it. And so we got to the point in our relationship, because we worked so much together, that I was able to know what he wanted. Or we had worked with it so much that we knew what the other wanted or could bring to the table as well. And we had that same vision together. And that was one of the cool things about him and I, that we were able to share that same vision, because he and I would always sit down and he'd tell me what he wanted for the show. Right. He goes, this is my idea for the show. This is what I want to bring to it. This is what my overall vision for it, all that stuff too. So they would sit down with him and do that. And then, so it gave me great ideas to go ahead and move forward with. So when I first started working with him, he was like, let me see what you have first. And then after the first couple of shows, he was like, just show me afterwards. After you get everyone done, after you choreograph the number and everything, show me what it looked like. And if I want anything changed, I'll talk to you after that. And so it was a very good thing of mutual respect and admirance for each other, that we're able to work with each other so very well. And I learned a lot from him. and I hope he learned some stuff from me as well. And it was just a great experience that I had with him and learning from him too.
So he kind of would present you with the framework of what his vision was at a high level and gave you the creative freedom to do.
Yep, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it really was. He was like, I kind of want this, like I know my vision for this is this. I'm like, okay. And then, I just go off and do it, and I'd show him to her and she'd go, yep, that's it. Yep, keep going. I like it. So that's the way it really worked out really, really well. So,
Well,
and that's when
Dobson's not here to defend herself, but I mean, that's not how it works with her directing this show. She says this is what's happening and this is how it's going. Mike Green jumped in the chat here on the live stream. He's says hello.
Mike Green, I love Mike Green. Mike
Yeah.
Green and I were on the board of directors together.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he came in and he was on the board of directors together. Amanda used to work for Mike Green, and that's when his son Michael Green came in and started doing stuff too. So yeah, Michael and Mike and Pam are really good friends of mine. I love them very much. Yeah, they're great.
That's awesome.
I think he also employed our lovely Miss Dobson
Yeah.
at one point too. So
I think so.
Former boss, yeah.
We've got
love
one more
people who
question.
support theater people.
I'm sorry. Looks like we got one more question for the interview portion of the show. It's a good one. Go on, Mike.
Definitely, yeah. And I know you kind of already actually on that last question touched it. So maybe even you can focus it in. Like, how did working with Randy specifically prepare you for New York City?
So, as you all know, and anyone who worked with Randy, anyone who sat and talked to Randy, he's very happy to share his experiences when he was on Broadway and in theater, in both. He had so many experiences in theater, and to sit there and listen to him and, what he was saying and the experiences he had and what he went through and how he learned from it, and going to New York and doing there and then coming back to Bryan and, rebuilding himself here and rebuilding himself there as well. You can't unlearn that, or you can't unexperience that, right? And so to learn and talk to somebody who went through it before I came here prepared me more than I ever thought I would before I actually got here. He always explained that, rehearsals at the theater company and all that stuff he tried to mirror it as much as he could with professional theater. In professional theater, I've done it a number of times where you literally rehearse 8 hours a day for 2.5 weeks, and then you have like 3 days of tech, and then you go up. In a Broadway show, you literally have anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks of rehearsal, and then 1 week of tech, and tech is 14-hour days. And you move on, and next you're performing, and 2 weeks of previews, and you perform. So he tried to mimic that, and it kind of prepares you that. So, and when you had a full-time job, you work 8 hours a day, and then you go to rehearsal for like 3 hours a day, and then you go home and you have to hurry up and learn your lines, learn your songs, and review the recordings you had and all that stuff too, and things like that. So it kind of prepares you for that, and his experiences and what he talked about and all the things he did help prepare a lot for moving up here as well. So it meant a lot, and it helped a lot too at the same time.
I think just kind of sharing my own experience, which is very limited, only the last 2.5 years ish. And what I found was, yeah, like you said, you work 8 hours, you're busting your hump. Chatting with some folks that aren't familiar with TTC but have done some dabbling in community theater, it's not run like that, but it is still run like that today. I think you guys would agree, where yeah, you've got to work extremely hard in a very short amount of time. There's no animosity or like, you really, Dana, you forgot that line again. It's real.
You forgot a line?
Inclusive.
Damn it, Dana. Damn it.
But I think the sentiment echoes even today, of how all of that was run, and we probably would attribute that to Dobson's closeness to Randy and how things operated. So, well, thank you, man. That was great, and I hope you stay around. We got a couple more questions in the After Dark segment if you're up for it.
Of course, yes. Just make sure you send me the link on time. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I sent you the link on time this time. I'm usually asleep, but I'm not. I wasn't asleep. So
Yeah, Dana forgot to send me the link too. That's why I was gone.
no,
Okay,
ma'am.
So Adrian, what did you do? Did you just like unplug your internet and then you
I don't
started to
know
hear
what
me
happened.
speak, or what happened? Or like you left, like all the good questions came up when you left.
I
too,
know.
so-
That's why I was so stressed out. I was like, what is going on? But it just stopped and I could pull up internet. Literally, I have my iPad here. I have my phone here. Both of those had internet, but I couldn't get into the Zoom. It kept saying, no, you have to switch the account. And I was like, all right, let me switch the account.
And there she goes again.
You know what's amazing is all the grief we give her about directing the show too, and it went on. I thought just fine, Robert. You know, we didn't need
I
her.
think
around.
you know what? You three did an amazing job, and Mike
Thank you, Robert.
Mike for not being here for like 6 months. I think you did a great job for us. That's great.
Oh, we're diva burning that. Kate Mitchell diva burn.
Diva burn.
That just froze again. And I literally just screamed at Coco, like, what did you do?
Not
What
Coco.
did you do?
If you guys remember from the 90s, the Wayne's World movie, remember how like Wayne gets in with the producer at like commercial and he's like, no, I'm not doing this no more. And so Wayne walks off and then Garth is sitting there because he's always like, you know, the second in command type guy. And they're like, action, 3, 2, 1, go. And Garth is like, what do I do? Well, you know, Adrian's our Wayne and she walked off the set, but you know, we powered through. We powered through.
We did not stand there and go.
But we did talk for about, I don't know, 15 minutes about Bloodsuckers Planet. So
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, we
Yes.
The
And I
fact
have
that
it up
that
on
was
my-
the first.
That
I have it on
was
my Google. So
that
ready
was
to
the
go.
very
It's like
first
bookmarked
thing
and ready to
that
go.
was
So it
mentioned.
great.
Thank you, Rodney.
It's back on Amazon Prime. I saw it, but I guess it was off for a while, but it's back. And it's like winning awards, you guys. So suck it.
Blood.
Boom. That's all I gotta say.
It's good. You know, having to talk to Robert about Randy and all of that, I would be crying. So this is probably for the best. And I got to have some more chips and queso. So
Nice.
There you
we
go.
all win.
We all win.
We all win. Oh my gosh. Yes. The fact that the first thing that Mike messaged me was, no, we're not talking about Bloodsuckers Planet. I was like, that's what you're going to send me right now as I'm screaming at my computer, wanting to know why it doesn't want to work.
Well, see, I thought it was my end. Just like you were talking and then all of a sudden you froze and literally the rest of us were like this. And I was like, is it me? Am I frozen? All of a sudden Dana goes, yes. So I was like, oh my God, thank you. I was like, I thought that was me. And I was like, I'd be so upset if all of a sudden I had to restart again. Literally, it felt like 5 minutes, probably like 10, but like you were gone. You were like, you're frozen like this. And then we were like, and no one said anything. And I think even the people watching were like, what just happened? So yeah, it was interesting. It was fun, but we moved on. We got it.
See, you froze and I was like, no. Cause yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
All right.
We can talk about it more in After Dark. So there we go.
that's right.
Did we do the fun facts? Am I in time?
No, final words.
Oh yeah, Robert. Any final message? Well, I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up. To the 7 listeners and to any of our like OG TTC folks that are
14.
watching, which is a lot.
There
14.
are 14 concurrent viewers right now.
That's
Where
Look
is
what
my
you've
money?
done, Robert. You've doubled our viewership in one show.
I've doubled your viewership in a matter of just a couple of hours. So my favorite saying is this: remember, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye, and then it's just fun. So just remember that from this point forward, and your life will be just happy.
Awesome.
Love it.
Oh,
That was
my
beautiful.
Love it.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I'm happy to spend my, because it's almost 10:30 here in New York City.
I know.
It's about an hour past my bedtime, but that's okay. I'll stay up for a little while longer, just for you.
All right. Well, we've got the Jennifer Riley fun fact coming up. I kind of hesitate to ask, Adrian. Do you have that queued up and ready to go?
I have it queued up and ready to go, but Dana has to make me the host again because apparently I'm no longer the host because I left the party.
Okay.
So meanwhile, everyone say something nice about each other.
Gotcha.
Your co-host. So go. What?
Okay, that wasn't exactly what the
Oh.
goal was, but that is fine.
Okay.
Hey there, Diva Dads. It's your fun fact correspondent, Jen Riley here. And today I have a fun fact about food and possibly an at-home experiment for those who are willing to try it. Apparently, you can taste garlic with your feet.
No.
Let me explain. So if you rub a garlic clove against your foot, apparently the molecules that give garlic its smell will penetrate your skin and travel through your bloodstream, where they'll eventually reach your mouth and your nose and give you kind of the taste of garlic without having to eat it. Now, what's interesting is both, like the time that I found this fact, it specifically said your foot, but if it's going to penetrate your skin, maybe it would work on other parts of your body. So if you want to give it a go, maybe you don't have to rub your foot with garlic, but maybe you do. If you try this, Diva Dads, please let me know because I'm not going to. That's all I've got for this week. I'm very excited for this week's episode, and I hope you are all doing well. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.
So there is something about, I'm not a podiatrist, nor do I claim to be, but I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. So we had chiggers at this summer camp I work at. Chiggers, like everywhere. Like it was terrible. Your ankles would be swollen. So this one person didn't have any chiggers. And I'm like, do they just not like you? And it's like, no, I put sulfur in my socks, little sulfur powder tablet things that crush up, and I put that and they stay away from it. And I was thinking, wow, that's why you smell like you do. I had no idea that it would, but it worked. Like we all were like, I don't care, we'll all smell like rotten eggs. And we filled up our socks with sulfur, and we didn't have any more chiggers the rest of the summer. So there's something to that. It gets in your bloodstream. The mosquitoes stayed away from us. It was, something about the feet. I don't know.
Oh God! Why? Okay.
How do you always turn?
How did I turn?
Always makes it weird.
You gotta make it as weird as possible.
So thank you.
I have to say something.
I don't know. Okay.
No, thank you.
How does this end? So I'm just curious.
I'm out of whiskey.
I'm going to change the subject so we don't end on that note. And I'm going to say something about Jennifer Riley. So Jennifer, obviously, she tunes in all the time. She comes in on Dads After Dark, and she knew we were rehearsing last week. And so that girl showed up with a big thing of brownies last week and then just stuck around. She stuck around, she hung out, she got to watch rehearsal, and then she contributed by helping us come up with the title of the book that's referenced in the show. So I made her the publisher of the book on the book cover. I love that girl so much, and it was just nice to be around her for a little while.
She is amazing.
Good people.
Yes. And yes, oh gosh, so this whole foot talk has triggered old school TTC with, yes, David Manuel, you could lose a toe. And yes, Chad Morrissey, you could lose a toe. It's a Randyism.
Awesome.
And now we can wrap it up.
Take it away, Mike.
All right, guys. So just make sure all 14 listeners tonight, go over to Facebook page, TTCDivaDads. Go ahead and give us a like, and go ahead and make a comment about tonight's show, and make sure you use that number sign called the hashtag.
Oh, stop it.
TTCDivaDads, and we will see y'all soon.
Did you not read that influencer book that I got you?
I'm on.
It's actually a pound sign if you want to get technical about it. So I'm just saying.
That's exactly. Yeah, I'm on the outro already, Rodney. Just saying. With an influencer like me,
Okay, we're done. Robert, thank you so much. Everybody have a great evening.
Much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry I missed it.
You know the Diva Dads, they got the